Hello and we are live. Happy Monday. My name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And today we're going to talk about 10 micro transformative things you can do every day to set yourself up for success. Hello, Christian here. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about transformative micro actions chef can take to be successful every day. And you probably heard it said that you don't eat an elephant at once, eat him at small bites. You also heard it that little things make a big difference. And for me, the 10 items I share today is what made a huge difference for me. And hopefully, those 10 things can also make a huge difference for you. You don't need to do them all the time, but if you can hit most of them every single day, um, you're going to be quite successful in what you do. If you're looking for a new career, if you want to start a business, if you want to scale your business, I honestly feel those are the 10 things you need to do. So you're going to ask, where did the 10 things come from? For me, over the years, I've been in the self improvement, self help space for 25 years now. I bought some stuff from Tony Robbins. I went to, oh my God, 50, 60 events of his and all the things we did. But what made the biggest impact for me is kind of writing out what are some of those people do which are really successful. I think it's Jim Rohn who says that success leaves clues. So as I started looking into my 10 list was born. So for me, my first one is morning exercise. Do something first thing in the morning. For me, I'm getting better at that because I realized I'm not a morning exercise person, but it became one of those things where I um, started doing it because it made me feel good in the morning. And here in my office, we're lucky enough to have a Peloton bike right over there. So for me, if I do nothing else, I jump on that thing 10 minutes in the morning. And I like kettlebells. So we've been doing a lot of stuff with kettlebells. And it's not just for exercise. I only do like 15, 20 minutes. But for me, it's all about getting your body ready for being productive into the day and sharpen your mind. I honestly believe when you do some kind of activity in the morning, it certainly helps you to set a positive tone for the day. The next thing I do, it's really simple. I just sit there for 5, 10 minutes and do morning, not just exercises. I call them expressing gratitude. It's I'm trying to cultivate a thankful practice. I'm just sitting there. Sometimes, I just send a quick text to a friend of mine saying, "Hey, I really appreciate you doing this for me." Or as I ran my kitchens, I just reached out to somebody and say, "Hey, I really appreciate it." And I did this to suppliers. I did this to customers, and writing thankful notes, handwritten notes are amazing. And a good friend of mine, Brandon, just sent me a really nice handwritten note. And that for me made my weekend. And it's one of those things, I think it's one of those lost arts people forgot to do. But being thankful and having that practice of gratitude creates a good relationship, not just a good relationships, it creates a network of mutual support and appreciation. So for me, that's number two. Number three is a learner's mindset. And for me, I call it never stop growing. Tony Robbins calls it CANI, constant and never ending improvement. And for me, that's really important. And we're doing it here in everything we do. If we do a live event, we sit down afterwards. Hey, what worked really well? How can we serve better? How can we make a bigger impact? And you also heard it said with Maxwell, who says that you need to have those 10,000 hours in order to be great at it. I don't necessarily think it needs to be the 10,000 hours. For me, it is that you read a half hour in your field a day. If you read a half hour in your field a day with a very short period of time, you will become not just an expert, but you become proficient in what you do. And also, um, It fuels your passion and it keeps your approach fresh and it keeps you on that innovative cycle. And for me, the next thing is to do is that balancing discipline with rewards. And that's something as a chef was for me a really big learning curve because we are not really good at taking care of ourselves. We're really not good in doing stuff for ourselves. We're doing a lot of stuff for other people, but we very seldom do something for us. And it doesn't need to be something major. It could be treating yourself to a special beverage you love, or you can treat yourself to a restaurant you haven't been to, or you can give your staff a day off, or you just do something you want to do and just maybe sleep in one day. I honestly believe that balance of discipline with reward is the single biggest reason why I never burned out. And that just only doesn't burn out, it keeps your motivation level high because you have that small little reward. And for that, I encourage you to reach out to a friend. And sometimes it's for us chefs, it's not easy for us to acknowledge what our things are, those little rewards. Our friends sometimes know us better than ourselves. So reach out to a friend. The next thing is don't sweat the small stuff. No, maybe I need to rephrase that. I think you need to sweat the small stuff. Pay attention to the little things. Pay attention when you walk into your restaurant. Is the door dirty? If you walk into your restaurant, what does it smell like? What does it look like? What is the lighting? What is the setup? How is the staff looking? All those little things reflect a operational excellence. Not only does it reflect that excellence in those areas, it's dedication to quality that you can not just see, but it will set you apart in the culinary world. And it's the same way when you walk out in the morning. And this is one of my pet peeves. My regional chefs and my corporate chefs, which used to work for me, and they had company cars. I wanted their company's cars to be clean because people look up to you. And when go to a location, or if you have a restaurant, there's a very good chance that your guests, your staff walks by your car. If your car is a mess, that's a reflection, because I honestly feel a messy car is the reflection of a messy inside. So we need to sweat the small stuff. Make sure your uniform is clean, that you look great, because that sets you up for a great day. So for me, my next point was that. Then I always talk about positive engagement. I think we need to start spreading positivity, smiling a little bit more, giving honest feedback, giving honest compliments. Not only does it boost the morale of the people you work with, it also does it for you. And if your guests, your employees, your friends, your family members get that honest feedback, compliment, I honestly think what COVID did for us, it gave us that bullshit radar. We know when people are not sincere. So having a positive mindset, spreading that positivity, I think it's super important. And for me, I practice every single day. The next thing for me is personalized connection. Remember names. So when you walk into somewhere that you know all your people's names, or if you meet somebody that you remember your name, not only does it help you build meaningful interactions, it helps people fostering strong connections because they feel heard, they feel seen if you remember them. And beyond the personalized connections, I encourage you to reach out to 3 people a day you need to stay in touch with. Reach out to 3 people a day you need to build connections with, and reach out to 3 new people a day you want to serve in some shape or form. So for me, meaning or having those meaningful, personalized connections is really important. And then go the extra mile, exceed expectations. Sometimes when we want to leave the office here and the phone rings and we know we closing in 2 minutes, we answering the phone. How about going above and beyond with your staff? Innovation, personalizing, always look to leave a way of memorable impressions. For me, going the extra mile is the difference between good and great. Going the extra mile is, for me, the difference of hiring somebody or not. For me, going that extra mile is, for me, a reason why we partner with somebody or why you don't do business with them. And then also having mindful practices. Incorporate mindful practices in your day. For me, I do meditation. It's a 5-minute meditation I do in the morning and I do it at night. It helps you reduce stress. It keeps your mind clear and it enhances your focus. And I honestly believe it boosts creativity. And the last and biggest thing for me is positive self talk. And that's something I'm still working on because I know I'm harder on myself than I am on anybody else. I know the way I talk to myself sometimes, that's not the way I would talk to my staff. This is not the way I would talk to my family. This is not the way I would talk to my guest. So for me, the biggest thing we as chefs, I honestly believe we need to work on is that positive self talk. Because doing this, it will practice, or that practice of doing that will help you maintain a resilient and an optimistic, positive outlook. It empowers you to face daily challenges with confidence. And just tweaking one little word sometimes when you talk to yourself makes all the difference. And for me, this is a conscious effort. I do that deliberately, trying not to be as hard on myself. And I catch myself this morning. I'm come here to my office. I wanted to record this for you guys with that live event here. And for me, I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't think this really feels good for me to talk about this. And then in the last minute, I changed it because for me, I said, I want to provide value. I want to provide service and I want to service the culinary community. I know I can. And for me, having that positive self-talk, and I want to do uh, a whole show just about the positive self-talk because for me, it's just a really, really big reason why people fail. And it's also a really big reason why people give up. And if you guys have listened to us over the last few months, this show is not about giving up. This show is not about walking away from something. This show is about arming you with the tools, techniques, and strategies you need to be successful. If you want to have a new career, if you want to start a business, or if you want to just scale where you are. And I promise you guys from the beginning, when we talk about what we talk about here, this is not about something I read. This is something I do on a daily basis. This is something I learned. And hopefully, by you guys listening to what we have here, it will help you to cut your learning curve. But then I want to say thank you for being here today. If you haven't done so, please join our exclusive club. It's the Disruptive Chef Club. In that group, we kind of give you the best and the latest and greatest. We would love to have you there. With that, I want to say thanks for being here. I'm Christian, the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur host. We see you at the next show.